Good deal. Good morning, YouTube. Good to have you along here this morning. Hey, if you're watching this as a replay, make sure you skip ahead. Let's see here, about 9 minutes. Skip ahead 9 minutes. That's when the show starts on the regular broadcast radio station. So there you go. Iron Horse Bar and Grill is open and rocking and rolling. South Dakota, Sturgis, South Dakota. All right. Hopefully audio is coming through. All right. And everything's good to go. Stations that are on the mumble side of things, good to have you with as well. And I'll get my guest lined up here shortly. And we'll be able to get going. Once again, let me know. Hopefully audio is coming through all right on the on the YouTube side of things. Let me know about that. Get my guest lined out, ready to rock and roll here shortly. And let me know, hopefully, KGFX, KOLY. Let me know when you're on. That would be dandy. Oh, man. What a beautiful sunshiny day in the Badlands of North Dakota this morning. A little bit of breeze. Bowman County 4-H sale going on this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Be there. I believe 3 o'clock. Let me double check that. Yeah. That is it. Let's see here. Get rid of that. Make sure this is coming through. Downloaded. Music test. That's good. Other than that, Piper's Auction Realty golf before or after? Oh, man. That's a good question. Let me ask Dixie. Maybe she'll come in. I'd like to do it afterwards, but I really should cut some hay down. I really should. Finally got some stretches of weather here. But I'll bring the clubs just in case. Definitely not before. It's going to have to be after. A few things I got to get done beforehand. So if you want to check in on the sale, hey, if you're listening, I was discussing the Slope County fair schedule and the auction. We need to talk about that here. Good morning, Karen. Good to have you in Mobridge. Sorry I didn't stop by and say hello the other day. All right, I'm going to call my guest. Get that rolling here. Yeah. Check out the Wassum Red Angus hat. Morning, Chuck. Pierre is here.
Hello.
Mr. Patten, how are you?
Doing well.
You are live with me on YouTube as before. We have a few minutes before we start on the radio side of things. So we usually do a little BS session on my YouTube channel as we get ready to go. So just to let you know.
Sounds good.
How's the weather up north?
Well, it looks like a sunny day, a little breezy, but hoping the fishing is going to be good today.
So you have your own boat and everything. I was on your Facebook page here. I see that you and your daughter caught a few nice walleye there.
Yeah, we had a good day yesterday.
Who cleaned the fish?
I did. I also put the worm on the hook. So,
what's the Rooster at Skunk Bay? What's that?
That's the restaurant and bar.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had one.
Very nice place.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice place.
Man, I haven't been up to Skunk Bay in a long time. Long time.
Yeah. No, it's really busy right now. The weekends, a lot of people come here, and very popular spot.
Good. Yeah, I usually go up and help with the Dakota Walleye Classic out of Beulah Hazen Bay, or Beulah Bay, I guess you could call it.
Okay,
This year, not going to happen. I am helping with a couple of auctions that same weekend, so
okay,
I'll be missing out on my annual fishing trip up that way, but that's okay.
yeah.
It's exciting to get over this COVID stuff so we can actually start having auctions again.
Yeah, that's been a big challenge for everybody.
Yeah.
I just saw yesterday that the NDSU Oregon football game is canceled now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's your take on this whole COVID? Are you a mask wearing guy too, or what's your take on it?
I'm not. I have in a few cases. McKenzie County has a very low level, so there are not a lot of mask wearers here.
Yeah.
So a few businesses, they have their employees doing it, but very seldom do you see people.
I was down in the hills, and there's a handful of restaurants in the Deadwood Lead area that the wait staff, I guess, has them. And there's some businesses that just absolutely not going to happen, which I guess if you walk into a restaurant and you want them to wear and they're not wearing it, go to a different restaurant.
That's the way it is in America.
Yeah. It's nice to choose your businesses that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully once the election's over, because it sure seems like everything's a political side of things right now anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to believe on that side of it, but
that is for sure.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Trying to get everything lined up here in my side of things here. Appreciate the talking points you sent me last night.
You bet.
We'll hammer some of them. Have a little fun, talk a little bit, and just share our story. Hopefully,
sounds good.
Yeah, hopefully get a few people interested, or I wouldn't say upset, but hopefully there's enough interest in, especially in the landowner side. And I tried to go on Game and Fish and put my property in there, and I must be entering in my legal ID of my land improperly because of all the names that I'd tried. Not a single one of it shows up, so I must have to go into the county courthouse and try it again. Okay. See exactly how it's listed.
Yeah, it takes either a personal ID or the exact way it's listed on your tax statement.
Yeah, I really wish it would just, you could type in a person's name and it would just come up like that. Make it a little easier. Yeah. All right, well, you have less than 60 seconds. I'm going to turn you down. You'll be able to hear me. I'm going to do a little countdown for the radio stations. We'll get going shortly. Stand by, sir.
Okay.
Morning, Waylon. Good to see you on Facebook or YouTube with me. Should do this Facebook Live one time. Stations, 30 seconds. 30 seconds coming on Mark. 30 seconds. All right. 10 seconds. Stations, 10 seconds. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. I'm Scott Bachmeyer. I'm going to be your host here for the next hour as we get the privilege to talk outdoors. If you'd like to call in and join in on the conversation, feel free to do so. Yeah, it's a toll-free call. It's 888-9-DAKOTA. That's 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682 is the number. And I tell you what, it's pretty simple to call in and have a little fun with us because I'm my own producer, as you can see. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you again, subscribers, for tuning in and checking me out here. I do everything out of the great ranch house here, right? The little bunkhouse that I have set up. So when you call in, you're automatically going to be put on hold, and we'll get to your phone call as soon as possible. And including, I guess, yeah, I can. I got some text messages going on right now. And look at there. He's got his kids with President Trump. There you go. 701 425 6651. That's 701-425-6651 is my cell number. If you want to send a text, you can do that. If you want to send a Facebook message, feel free to do that. Instagram. We got all kinds of social media going on here this morning. Good to have you along. Now, first off, a big shout out here to my fishing guide, Brent Chemnitz, down in that Mobridge, South Dakota area for having me out fishing on Wednesday and Thursday on Lake Oahe. A little slow fishing is what he said, but I don't know. I mean, we only spent half days, and we limited out. All three people in the boat, we limited out. Good guy, professional guide. If you're ever in our area, you want to go fishing, give him a call at the MoPro Guide Service and also the MoPro or Mo Rest Hotel. You can get in touch with him either way. Now, not only did we catch our limits both days here, we fished for half days, which is, I think, a great way to do that. So I can get back and try to get some more hay on the ground. Also, a big shout out to a guy named Wink. He came up and introduced himself at the boat ramp and shook my hand, and he recognized, for some reason, he recognized me on the radio. Okay, so thank you, KOLY and Mobridge, for keeping along with a rancher out here in the Badlands and having a little fun on the radio. So it's always nice to catch up with any of those listeners all across the Dakota Territory. Big thanks to great stations like KFYR at Bismarck, KOLY out of Mobridge, KCJB in Minot, KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, and also KLTC in Dickinson, for allowing somebody like me here with the passion for hunting to be on your station and share this, what we call a great ride out here. Today's show, ready to get rolling. Let's do it here. We're talking outdoors, and we're talking about the pilot program for private landowners in certain counties where they can electronically post their land. And this pilot program here, and I tell you what, you can do this on the Game and Fish website. There's 3 counties. We'll be talking a little bit more about this here. But first off, Senator Dale Patten is my guest. Morning, Dale. How's everything going for you?
Very good. Good morning.
And you're broadcasting from Skunk Bay, Lake Sakakawea. How's things up at Skunk Bay this morning?
It looks like a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Little breeze and sunny skies.
Do they call that the walleye chop is what they call that when there's just a right amount of waves out there?
For some people, I'm not sure it works for me, but for some people it is.
I just got done fishing on Lake Oahe, man. I'm sure you heard my intro here. And 2 days, and we only did half days. I did a Wednesday afternoon and a Thursday morning. And that's what I like about fishing with a guide. It's their job to know where the fish are and get us on the fish, and we just blasted them again. And how's the fishing up at Skunk Bay?
It's been a little slow. I was fishing with my daughter yesterday, and she outfished me, which she brought up several times during the day. But we had a lot of fun. It was a beautiful day, and really enjoyed ourselves.
So how can she outfish? I mean, are you pulling bottom bouncers? That's what we did.
Yes, and spinners.
Yeah. So I mean, you're the one running the boat and trolling and guiding around certain depths of the lake and the bay. So how can she outfish you when you technically did all the work?
Well, she counts it as a caught fish if it takes her worm. She's got a different standard.
I should get her on the phone and see what her take is on this whole thing. What a great
time! Very proud of her fishing. Yeah.
What a great thing to do with your family. I mean, we were talking about COVID-19 here before we got on air with the radio stations, and everybody wants the social distance or is recommended to do this. What a better way than get out in the outdoors, man, right?
Yep. It's a great place to have fun.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long you been in the Senate?
Okay, I grew up at Plaza, North Dakota. We're in Montreal County. I've been here in Watford City since 1980. Background, I spent 33 years in banking here and retired about 3 years ago. Serving my first term in the Senate, so I've gone through one session now.
Okay. So new to the Senate side, and how do you like it so far, being in the political side of the game?
Oh, it's very interesting, very challenging, sometimes fun, sometimes not.
Yeah, a lot of people, we had Senator Bill Bowman that was representing our area for a long time down here. And we have a substantially large district in the southwest corner of the state, don't we?
Yes, District 39 is the biggest one in the state.
Yeah. And probably the most rural, I would say, as well.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. And the pilot program that we're talking about, and let's see here. First off, We have a question to text in here from the president of the Petroleum Council. Mr. Ron Ness says, ask Senator Patten about the mule deer numbers in McKenzie County. How are the mule deer numbers?
They, I think, are pretty good, actually. I've been seeing quite a few around our place. They move through the area, so I'm hoping that we'll have a good mule deer hunt this fall.
Yeah, I do too. I just been seeing more and more. I was kind of skeptical a little bit here, but when you finally get out and you start cutting some hay down like I am, and you get a chance to actually sit out in the field for hours at a time, right next to the beautiful Badlands, there's more and more mule deer than I personally thought there was going to be. The surveys showed that there were good numbers, and I thought they weren't until you sit out there for a few hours, and by golly, there's some good numbers out there. And I think the mule deer doe population, especially after being closed down for so many years, has really rebounded.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's talk about this pilot program. It is, our listeners in South Dakota, and you know this as well. Everything is assumed posted in South Dakota, no matter what. Whether you post a no hunting or trespassing sign in your land or not, you still need to ask permission. And one thing that they do with we call it plots in North Dakota, they call it walk-in land in South Dakota, is I wish that we could do this and get it funded somehow. And this is, I'm going to push you at the legislative side to do this, is on our walk-in land, private land open to sportsmen. I wish we could put, like South Dakota does, is a little bump out parking spot, so they don't have to park on my main driveway when I'm coming home this fall, hauling my cattle home after weaning stuff. So I'm going to push you to do that, Dale. Is that a possibility? Put that into the plots program somehow, legislative-wise?
Well, we can talk to Game and Fish about that.
Yeah.
I know that there's some areas where they've established some parking spots, but yeah, I'm sure it's not in all the areas.
No, it isn't. I wish it would be, though. So anyway, the pilot program is North Dakota landowners have been on a quest or a fight, and Stockmen's Association jumped in on this too, is trying to make sure that our property rights are covered and respected, and private property rights are. South Dakota, easy enough. You have to ask permission no matter what, whether there's a sign there or not. You got to ask permission. North Dakota was trying to do that, got shot down in the legislature. How long have we've done this? We've attempted to do this for how many years now? How many sessions, I should say?
I never checked into it, but I was told that it was probably about 7 or 8 sessions that the landowner groups' interests have been promoting a change to, our hunting regulations regarding posting and having it closed, and like South Dakota's is with permission required.
Yeah.
You're right. It passed through the Senate and right at the end of the session failed in the House by just a few votes. So it was I would say it was in the top 3 or 5 most contentious bills that were proposed during the session.
Yeah.
And
but I tell you what,
by
Dale,
far the most emails regarding it.
We're up against our first break right now. I'm sorry to cut you off. We'll be back more talking with landowner rights after these messages.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora is open for the 2020 summer season. All safety precautions have been taken, with social distancing guidelines enforced and hand sanitizer stations in place. Come see the beautiful new displays for 2020, including the amazing bronze collection in the Hall of Honorees. Shop our wonderful gift shop with merchandise available celebrating 25 years of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. We'd love to see you at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora.
These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers hosting these upcoming equipment auctions. On July 25th, Piper's will offer an exceptional antique and collectible auction near Robinson, North Dakota with too many items to mention, featuring Russell steam engines, tractors, farm equipment, hundreds of stationary engines, flintlock pistols, swords, and so much more. Also join Piper's for these upcoming live and online equipment auctions in Bowman, Animus, and Steele, North Dakota, Dagmar and Baker, Montana, and Ada, Minnesota. For full inventory and details on dozens of land and equipment auctions throughout the upper Midwest, log on to pipers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Your home isn't just your biggest investment, it's where you live and where you love. Dakota Community Bank and Trust makes it easy and convenient to find the best loan program and most current rates available. Whether you were house shopping as a first-time buyer, thinking about new construction, refinancing your mortgage, or remodeling, we offer the assistance of an experienced live mortgage officer. You can find our mortgage team through bricks or clicks, in person or online, anytime at dakotacommunitybank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. All right, stations, 30 seconds coming at you here. 30 seconds on mark is what's happening here. We'll be back shortly.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes,
15 seconds.
you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition all across the Dakota Territory. K-Fire out of Bismarck, KOLY in Mobridge, KCJB in Minot, KGFX in Pierre, and KLTC in Dickinson. And coming back with music, once again, that's Benny Paulson's band here, Breakin' 8. If you haven't checked out his music, please do. Go to any Apple store or Amazon Music. You can find it. Just type in Breakin' 8. You can find him on social media as well. And not only a good guy, good, just down-home country music is what they play. Good stuff here. Dale Patten, Senator Dale Patten is my guest here this morning. Senator, welcome back. I'm guessing you probably know Benny Paulson, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a talented guy. Not only can he ride bulls and ranch, he's he's a great musician, singer, and he has a little podcast show going on. Just all around fun guy.
He is.
Yeah. And not only that, but a landowner himself. We were talking about okay, we got some more. Again, if you want to call in any questions about land ownership and what we're discussing here today with Senator, 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. It's a toll-free number. Call in. You're automatically put on hold here as I'm my own producer. And if you want to remember it easier than that, 888-9-DAKOTA is the phone number that way. So, Senator, we're discussing the pilot program. Now, this pilot program to electronically post your
land as a no hunting or trespassing, stemmed out of this, the everything assumed posted. I guess you could say that bill that lost by a few votes in the House side. Which three counties again in North Dakota are doing this as a pilot program? I know my county and Slope County is in it. What are the other two?
The other two are Ramsey County over at Devil's Lake and Richland County down at Wahpeton.
Okay. Have you checked in and seen how those counties, how many landowners are actually stepping up to the plate and putting their stuff here
I
on
checked,
this pilot program?
Yeah. I checked yesterday, and we had 43 landowners and something over 100 different land parcels that were registered so far.
Yeah.
And we have until July 15th to get the landowners registered on the site.
So if you're one of those three counties and you want to support this, it's in the next few days here, just 4 days away is what we have. Now,
Yes.
What exactly, how did this come about, this pilot program of, I mean, we wanted to, as a landowner, we were looking at, well, all land is assumed posted. Let's just feed off of Montana and South Dakota and make it easy as this. And that didn't get through. So how did this pilot program actually get, I guess, evolved?
Well, the discussion when you run the proposed legislation that was brought forward 7 or 8 times and it doesn't pass, we're looking for a different option, a different way to get some progress on this. What we had was hunters that were very happy with the way the situation was, and landowners that were upset because they considered a property rights issue and their property rights weren't being considered. Closed, and then we had landowners that would be happy and hunters that would be upset because they had very good hunting in North Dakota for forever, and they were concerned about the change. So this is an attempt to find a way that we can accommodate the landowners and make it more efficient and easier for them to post, and also assist the hunters where they can check online if they're sitting in Minot or Grand Forks or Fargo and say, okay, I want to go hunting in Slope County, what land is posted. It's almost like you can book a tee time at a golf course in Arizona from your, up here. You don't have to drive down there and actually check in. So those 3 counties were selected, or actually they volunteered. They were the first 3 that signed up to become part of this study, and we're going forward with it that way.
That I don't think that's enough people signing up to make this look like it'll work. In my own opinion, I guess I was thinking more than 40 some landowners, but here's my reason is what I think why it's not is a lot of people already have their land posted at this point, and it is a little more, I guess, difficult if you don't have your tax records on hand. Trying to put my land into and the Game and Fish has it on their site that you can actually go in there and do that, is to list your property. You have to have the exact either parcel number or exact way that it's written on your taxes. And if you don't know that, you can't get in there.
Yeah.
Or you can't even search. You can't even search if you want to go in there and search land. And it's like, well, I know Dale's got some land by Watford City, but you can't just put your name in and it pops up at all. You have to know the exact way it's written on the taxes.
And that's from the IT side of it. In order to actually pull it up, they had to be able to do a sort that way. And so the best way to put the land in is to pull out your real estate tax statement from the last year. And you can either enter in the exact name that's shown on the statement or else the parcel ID number.
Sure. And
it'll pull it up. The real issue of what we wanted to do was be able to find out if there's any glitches or problems with this program.
Sure.
So I was hoping that we'd get up to probably around 100 different landowners that would enter it in. The story for coming out of Game and Fish was they had some people that were pretty skeptical and opposed to it. But once they used their tax statement, they got it entered in. They thought it went fairly simple, and they thought it worked well. So
I agree. I think if you have your tax statement and you can put it in that way, I think it goes really smooth. But personally, I see from the IT side of things, because that makes sense. I mean, you're going to put it in like it is listed, and contact number and everything is an optional thing that you can put in there if people want to get in touch with you. But on the other side, my skeptical side, Dale, is like it's almost being set up for failure in a sense, because if I want to go hunt in Ramsey County And I look on my base map app and I'm like, okay, so and so. And I try to go onto the website and it doesn't pull up any of the land because I'm not entering it in exactly like it is on the tax record. It's kind of set up for failure, isn't it, or not?
Well, no, what'll happen is you, as a landowner, you enter in the exact name.
Okay.
Or parcel ID number. Then it'll show, you can go in and you can check those that you want to post. But at that point, then it becomes a map. It becomes digital as a map.
Gotcha.
And it'll become, should be available on Onyx Hunt and so forth as being closed to hunting. So you can pull it up. They'll have printable maps on the website from Game and Fish. So if you're going to hunt an area and you look at that, you'll go and say, okay, I see that these 3 sections are closed to hunting.
Sure.
So it'll be from the hunter standpoint, it'll be based on a mapping.
And I know the July 15th deadline coming up here shortly is because the Game and Fish wants to put together their maps for the plots land and their plots books, and they want to include that on there too. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have them in place before the hunting season started in the fall.
Sure.
So they needed to kind of have a deadline. Now, the one thing about the study is if you list the land in there as posted in one of these 3 counties, it's strictly an attempt to find out if it works for both the landowner and the hunter.
Right.
Posting it that way does not give, you still would have to post it physically at this time in order to be compliant with the law. So there is no, you can't go in and say, well,
right,
I posted electronically, and so you're violating my no hunting rules. During this study period, you still have to physically post.
Right. This is just a pilot program to see if this will work, is what they're looking for. So whether you do it electronically or not, you still have to abide by the rules of actually putting a sign up on your property. And in that way, it's a good point. A lot of people don't, they're thinking, wow. And I also heard a landowner last night. I was up in Galva having a little supper, and one of the landowners said, why would we take the time to put this electronically? Because all my land's already posted if it doesn't have any teeth to it, and I tried to explain to him that because this is a pilot program to see if it will work. And so some of the landowners are like, well, if it's not even going to, really hold any teeth to it, they're not going to do it, which is not what we want either.
Right. The challenge is if they do this and enter it, and then we get any potential glitches or bugs worked out, then we'll be bringing forward legislation that would allow it to happen in the future.
I got you. Okay.
It's the idea is to put something in place that is a test, so that if there is any problems, we can fix them.
Sure.
Instead of doing the whole thing right off the bat and then having problems and having it come back and fix it.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I got my phone's blowing up with text messages here. So if you can hang with me through this next break, Dale, we'll get those answered. Also, we got a couple phone calls. I see they called and then hung up. You can sure call again. Dale, stay with me here. More coming up all across the Dakota Territory on the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo-Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora is open for the 2020 summer season. All safety precautions have been taken, with social distancing guidelines enforced and hand sanitizer stations in place. Come see the beautiful new displays for 2020, including the amazing bronze collection in the Hall of Honorees. Shop our wonderful gift shop with merchandise available celebrating 25 years of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Fame. We'd love to see you at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora.
These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council.
Hi, this is Andy Murdoch with Piper's Auctioneers hosting these upcoming equipment auctions. On July 25th, Piper's will offer an exceptional antique and collectible auction near Robinson, North Dakota with too many items to mention, featuring Russell steam engines, tractors, farm equipment, hundreds of stationary engines, flintlock pistols, swords, and so much more. Also join Piper's for these upcoming live and online equipment auctions in Bowman, Animus, and Steele, North Dakota, Dagmar and Baker, Montana, and Ada, Minnesota. For full inventory and details on dozens of land and equipment auctions throughout the upper Midwest, log on to pipers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Your home isn't just your biggest investment, it's where you live and where you love. Dakota Community Bank and Trust makes it easy and convenient to find the best loan program and most current rates available. Whether you were house shopping as a first-time buyer, thinking about new construction, refinancing your mortgage, or remodeling, we offer the assistance of an experienced live mortgage officer. You can find our mortgage team through bricks or clicks, in person or online, anytime at dakotacommunitybank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. All right, stations once again. Stations, we are 30 seconds on mark. 30 seconds, and we're back at you here.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continues on a beautiful Saturday morning. Having the privilege to talk outdoors all across the Dakota territory. KGFX in Pierce, South Dakota, KLTC in Dickinson, North Dakota, KCJB in Minot, North Dakota, KOLY, Mobridge, South Dakota, and of course KFire, KFYR, Bismarck, Mandan. Good to have you guys along here. As long as that, we have YouTube going on and my live channel. Please subscribe. The more subscribers, the more I can do fun stuff that's not in studio. I can actually do things out and about, or about if you're in the Canadian side of things. Senator Dale Patten is my guest here. We're talking about different the pilot program going on here for 3 different counties in North Dakota to test out the waters to see if the landowners, try to electronically post our land. Hopefully we get more people. You said 40 some, Dale, right now. We're looking at hopefully 100 before July 15th. That would be nice, but we need people to get on there and do a better test run of this pilot program, shouldn't we say?
Yes, that's our hope.
Yeah. And during the break, you and I were discussing a couple things, and you can go on the Game and Fish North Dakota side, and pretty easy. They walked through it. I was on a Stockman's Spring Roundup virtual meeting, and they went through and actually showed how to do this. It's very simple to get through there and step through it. Now, if you've ever purchased a license in North Dakota, you have a login already. So the next year, if you already put your land in this, the next year you don't have to go through the same rigmarole. You just click in. Isn't it an option of, yes, I'd like to continue this? It's as simple as that.
Yes, and you can, based on each parcel ID, you can either post or not post. You have
Sure.
discretion related to that. Some people say, well, I don't care. I've got land 20 miles away. I don't care if that's hunted or not, but right around their home, they may want to post it, that type of thing. They can also, built into that is list, you yourself as a landowner, as a contact person for people if you choose to and want to be contacted, or if you have a tenant or somebody else that you want to have that be the contact person. That's built
Sure.
into the website too. If you don't want to be contacted, you don't have to put that contact information in.
Absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines here. 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. We have a 290 number. Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going great. What's on your mind here for Senator Patten today?
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, I was the guy that called in and hung up on you. I'm raking hay and did a pretty good rut and about put my head through the roof of the tractor.
Well, I appreciate you calling back after the break. What's your first name here?
Anyway,
so we can,
Shane.
Shane. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just for Dale, I just don't understand this. Everybody puts the burden on the landowner to do this stuff. I got 7,000 acres out here in Dunn County, and it cost me almost $1,000 to get good signs and 3 days to hang them up, and I still ain't done posting. And now they want a guy to go on and electronically do this. My dad has a bunch of land. He's 85 years old. He ain't computer literate. Who's going to do it for him? I guess that's just some of the questions I have. And to me, it should be like South Dakota and Montana. It's considered posted. If we want this electronic stuff, have the people that want people to hunt go in and sign up their land. The rest of us shouldn't have to do it. It's just a burden.
Yeah. One of the things that we're trying to do is help reduce that burden by offering the electronic option. The physical posting is still, in reality, will be the dominant one. If it's physically posted, that's the law. One of the problems that we have run into with physical posting is damage to signs, tearing them down, that type of thing it can happen. That can't happen with the electronic side of it. Plus, with physical posting, it's an annual thing. You got to go out there and make sure they're all there or redo them and so on. With the electronic thing, it can be done very simply at your computer. We did talk about the people that are not computer literate. Well, they can still do the physical thing like they always have, or they can have their grandson or somebody that has the skills to come in and do it for them. The challenge was we tried closed, and we tried it, I think, for 8 different sessions, and didn't get it done. So this is an attempt to get something on the table that would make a difference.
Well, keep working on it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We will.
All right.
You bet.
Have good fishing up there too. I do a little bit up there myself too, and it's pretty slow this year so far.
Yep. Small fish.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one, you guys.
You bet. Thanks for calling in. 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. A couple text messages coming in here. Dale, it says, this one's not really a question, but more of a statement. It says, I'm sure this will make ethical hunters out of non-ethical hunters. And he says that's, sarcastically spoken. Another one is here, why is the burden always on the landowner? The legislature doesn't have the right to negotiate my property rights. The app Onyx costs about $30 a year and lists all the landowners. Let the hunters do their homework. What do you say about that?
He's right. But right now it's open to hunting, and in spite of all the efforts to change that legislatively, we have, the landowners have not been able to get enough votes to have it happen. I ultimately think that the electronic posting will be simpler for the landowner because they can do it in just a few minutes once they've got everything done, entered in there. And as opposed to spending, 7,000 acres, 10,000 acres. There's some people that farm even more than that, and it is a big burden to go out there and physically do that. It takes days of work, and I had one guy tell me, he says, I every time I post, and he lived in the Bismarck area, he said if they want to hunt, they go in and tear the sign down.
Yeah.
Well, and then it becomes a little more difficult to prosecute for no hunting. In this case, it's listed on the website, that's posted, and that's, if we get the legislation through and it passes, that would be enough of a standard. If somebody's there, they should have known.
Let me ask you this. It started out, in my mind anyway, this started out as a private property rights issue, and it seemed like it got turned into a hunting issue. What's your take on that? I guess, my big thing is I don't want people, I don't care what time of year it is. I want to know who's trespassing or who's coming across my property. That's the bottom line, I guess. Well, what's your take?
Absolutely. It still is a private property rights issue. When we, I think I got probably 500 or 600 emails on this issue, all the way from Alberta, Canada to Florida.
Wow.
And this is anti-hunting, and it's not. I'm going to say that almost all the land that's posted is being hunted by somebody.
Sure.
The landowner, the landowner's family, the landowner's kids, friends, people that have developed the relationships. I remember one email that I got, it was from a guy. He says, I've hunted North Dakota for 30 years, and if this closed to hunting goes through, it'll ruin hunting for me.
But it's
and
not closed to hunting. It's closed to trespassing.
Yeah. Right. I thought if you've hunted North Dakota for 30 years and you don't have a relationship with the landowner that allows you to come out and hunt, maybe you are one of those guys that is not the best hunter. That was my initial thought. But the hope is that people will work harder at building landowner relationships. And if they do that, they're going to have a better hunting experience.
Text message comes in and says, let's go back to old school. You want to hunt the property, you need to make a relationship with the landowners and help them when they need help. Be a friend, not just somebody that wants access to the land to hunt.
Yep. That's the way it was when I grew up.
Yeah.
So
another message here says, we're listening to a show about private property, and lots of times it's not even about trespassing or hunting. It says, we have guys opening gates and target shooting in our fields and pastures that are posted and don't care, or they are mudding and ripping up our hay and cropland. And they say, well, it's not posted property and they have more rights than us on our own property. That's and then it finishes up, says, it sounds like a lot of hassle to do this electronically. It'd be a lot easier if they do what they did in South Dakota and everything is just considered posted.
Yep. And again, that's been, we ended up here because we tried everything posted and have not been able to get that done.
So what's holding it up, Dale? I mean, why wouldn't the House pass something that seems like, let's protect our private property owner rights? Why wouldn't that pass? I don't understand it.
Well, the hunter lobby groups were very active, and a lot of pressure in those urban cities on the legislators. Actually, there's some ag background guys they said they could not vote supporting it just because their district was adamantly opposed to it. We also had, in some cases, there was, and this was more in the geese flyway, the waterfall areas, where the landowner said, we don't want to be contacted by hunters for asking for permission. So there was a little bit of division within the landowners, and they just said, if it's posted on and closed entirely, then I'm going to get calls all fall, asking for permission, and they didn't.
Not if they have that relationship already put together, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's what they wanted to avoid. And I don't know how many of that, but it was one of the things that some of the legislators hung their hat on, saying, well, I've got people, landowners on the other side of this. So, that gave them, I think, some reasoning why they would vote against the bill. So it was hard fought all the way to the end. I mean, ended up short.
Yeah. Another text says, I'm afraid that the only way this is going to change the posting and property rights issues is going to be a class action lawsuit against the state. Has that been brought up?
I've not heard anything on that.
Sure. South Dakota listener says, good luck in getting your state to match the trespassing laws in South Dakota. I was surprised to see North Dakota has a screwed up posting law. What's the main opposition to the posting legislation?
Again, the hunter groups are very active in their lobbying, and ultimately they got a good deal right now. I mean, they can. It's been very good for them,
and they got money.
They don't want it changed. Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to
And I'm a hunter too, so
yeah, you bet. Let's go to the phone lines here to a 449 number. Good morning. You're on with Senator Dale Patten. What's your comment today?
Good morning. If they want to run a pilot program and they're concerned about the urban people or even the east side of people, let's just split the state in half. Do the West River, all the lands all might be posted, and keep East River the way things are, and let that go for a couple of years and do a study on that.
Dale?
There was actually some discussion about that, but nobody could figure out legislatively how that would work. Doing any kind of a zone deal. So there was a little bit of discussion.
I don't see what the problem would be. Yeah. Just follow the Missouri River. Simple as that. Use some common sense here.
The thing about that, I'm going to play the devil's advocate on you is I know people over here in the southwest corner that didn't support that either, and I'm sure there's people on the eastern side of the river that would be like, hey, we want to be involved in this too. So I don't know. I'm liking what you're saying, but I'm just thinking that there's always landowners that are going to agree and disagree too.
Yep.
So, but anyway,
there was a little discussion, but it did not get any legs as far. This is the route that we felt, and of course we were right at the end of the session. So,
sure.
We hung our hat on the one bill, and that didn't go. So there was only time for this study.
Why couldn't they do it zone by zone like they do for hunting zones? I mean, if you have to apply for 3F2 or 4E or anything, when you apply, why can't they do it zone by zone and say, well, everything in this zone is assumed posted, so you need to contact landowners?
There was never any legislation that went that direction. It was not proposed either by Stocklands or any as far as doing it. And when you look at that, why does one zone get this and another zone doesn't? How do you make the decision of which one gets it?
Right.
Well, just run your pilot program in 3-4 different units, and if people don't want phone calls about asking permission to hunt, use your online deal where they can go sign their land up, and people can go online and see, we don't have to ask permission on this land. They can just go on that land then.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah, and that's what the pilot program is hoping to solve here, or at least research, I would think, right, Dale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on what I've seen when we work through this, the sign up is fairly simple. I mean, if you have your tax statement, your real estate tax statement, you can go through it and get it done in not too long a period of time.
Yeah.
And then you just have to go in the next year and reaffirm what you've done. If you've sold land or bought new land, you can either take it off or add, or if you rented land and have the authority to post that, you can add that, but just basically do a refresher. And the idea was to make it as simple as possible for the landowner, and then provide a mechanism that was effective for the hunting groups.
Bottom line is we have till July 15th in these three counties: Slope County, Ramsey, and which was the other one?
Richland, down
Richland County.
Wahpeton.
Okay. So they tried to do East River, north side, and southwest. I mean, they spread it out around the state at least a little bit to try to do this. So the bottom line, get in and try to get this done. If you have questions, I would think they could go to the county seat, go into the courthouse, and they would help you do there. I'm sure they have access to all your information. So then why wouldn't you want to be able to log on that way and be able to get in there and do that? I would think they would help, wouldn't they, Dale?
Yeah, they'd be able to get you your real estate tax statement and parcel ID very easily.
Yeah, and if you're in Slope County, call me. Most everybody knows me in Slope County, so I can help you out and try to get that too. So but yeah, I guess you can see that the passion for a lot of landowners are still out there. They're still concerned. Is this going to come back again for everything's assumed posted for the next legislative session?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the property or the landowner groups, the Stocklands Association, Farm Bureau, and so forth, they're wanting to see how this pans out.
Sure.
they're saying, they're reserving the judgment until we get through the pilot study and get any results back as far as effectiveness. And that's why we want to encourage landowners is to try it out and then give input back. I mean, did it work for you or not?
Right.
And that's the purpose, as well as the hunters. I mean, was it effective or not? That way we can, if we need to make adjustments, we can. If they decide it doesn't work and landowner groups want to bring legislation again, it'll probably come forward and go through the same process, and maybe it'll fly or maybe it won't.
Yeah. Another message from a South Dakota listener. It says, I hunt a few spots around here, a sack of steaks, pork chops, or a bottle of, I don't even know, the Drambuie builds relationships, he says. So, where has that gone, Dale? I mean, we used to be able to knock on doors and go up and, you learned rejection, I guess, at a young age. Is that something that people are scared of now, or what's the deal?
Well, I don't know. I think, going back when I was a kid, the hunters were usually neighbors and people from town or in your area.
Yeah.
Now they're coming from all over the country.
Sure.
So they're, so there's a different hunting mix. People are willing to travel further for hunting and so forth. So they don't have that local connection anymore. I think that's part of the challenge.
Well, Dale, I appreciate you coming here on a Saturday morning and taking time. I know your daughter probably is itching to go out and outfish you again here. If people have questions or comments, can they get in touch with you? And if so, how do they do that?
They can email me, dpatten@nd.gov. I got my cell phone is on my Patten for Senate website or Facebook page. So either way, 701-570-4908 is the cell number. Email or text or phone.
And the nice thing about it is you encourage it, and you'll always answer your phone if you have the service to do so. If not, he'll get back to you pretty promptly. So thanks again, sir, for coming on the program and joining us Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay?
You bet I will. Thank you.
You bet. Senator Dale Patten. Again, his email is dpatten, DPATTEN @nd.gov. If you, if you're in District 39 like I am and have any questions, comments, feel free to give him a call. Big thanks to him coming on the program. Hey, big thanks to all my radio station affiliates, KF Fire, KOLY in Mobridge, KCJB and Minot. Also, our friends at KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, and Fort Pierre, and KLTC in Dickinson for allowing just a country folk like me to come on and share my passion and what's going on. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. Bowman County 4-H livestock sale this afternoon at 3:00 Mountain Time. If you want to get in there and bid and help these kids out, a little different with the COVID-19 stuff this year. So 4-H still going strong. Help those kids out. Have yourself a great day, great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk, enjoy, support your local farmers and ranchers. Have a good weekend. All right, stations, thank you so much for carrying with me here. I'm going to hang up on your stations, Facebook, or YouTube, I should say. Thank you guys for subscribing and keeping with me here on another Saturday. Have yourself a good day. Enjoy.